everybody. So we are pre-recording this episode, and we're here with Travis Reed from City of Ridgecrest. Welcome today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, I kind of voluntold you to be here.
Well, when the mayor calls, I come running.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. We also have Mr. Mayor in here sitting back laughing at me because today we're going to learn about roads, public works, all that stuff. And full disclaimer, Amanda needs some help with that. I'm just like an average Joe in here today. So
I think you'll be just fine. I saw the list you had written down already. So
Travis is my co-host, and I think I'm the guest over here. So let's start out with a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, your background, and what's your favorite food?
Ooh, my favorite food is definitely meat. I'm a meat lover, and it's steaks and ribs and any kind of carnivore style stuff.
Literally, so I was in Bishop this weekend, went to Mahogany's Smoked Meats for their jerky. Best place ever.
So I'm pretty particular to what kind of meats I eat, and I like to cook them myself. So I do get them out and about, but I'm always disappointed. So I don't hardly ever buy it from anywhere else.
So do you hunt?
No, I do not. That is one
Do
thing.
you farm?
No, I could not pull the trigger and take the life from somebody. Full disclaimer, could not do it.
From somebody?
Could not. From
Okay,
anybody.
I mean.
From anybody. Animal, somebody, could not do it. I could not take life.
Okay, hey.
I would, unless I had to protect my family, then I probably could. But to like do it, just like to do it, no way. I'd be in tears. I'd be a mess.
Okay, fun fact, now I am literally the guest. I was 14 when I shot down my first deer, and my dad was like, always wanted a son, this and that, got 3 daughters. Like, he's like, okay, let's learn to go hunting. And I was like, excuse me, what? How long do I have to sit here and be quiet for? 14-year-old. Yeah. Took it down with a bow. And my dad's like, you're going to go hunting all the time. I was like, I never want to do this again in my life. I'm going vegetarian.
I don't know if I could do that.
Oh, I went full bore extreme opposite. Yeah. Because once you, on a smaller scale, when you go fishing, you have to gut the fish, skin the fish, clean it up, pack it to go home. Yeah, you got to do that too when it's a deer.
So I have a funny story for you too about having daughters. So my brother-in-law, love him to death, has 4 daughters.
Oh.
Our wives were my wife's sisters, all 3 of them were pregnant at the same time with our last one. And we had a cycle in our family that was boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. And it kept going. And we thought for sure, we're like, Mike, okay, you're getting one. You're getting a boy. You're getting your boy. So he gets a girl. So he asks our Gigi Pa, which is my wife's mother's dad.
Okay.
What should I do? I've got 4 girls. You had 4 girls. And he put his arm around him and he said, invest in tampons and toilet paper now. To this day, probably the best thing I've ever heard. I have not laughed that hard in a long time.
Greatest, most useful piece of advice ever. I was expecting get your gun safe ready, get great at polishing those guns around prom time and everything. No. Good job, Gigi. Gigi Pa?
Gigi Pa.
Good God. Good job. Alrighty. So, a little bit about you. What brought you here, your background, what led you to where you are today?
So I grew up in Acton, so I'm kind of close, lived in the desert, was into dirt bikes, into a lot of stuff like that. Went to Vasquez High School, which everybody knows is the trailer park on the side of the 14.
Okay.
It's now a nice school. I had a great experience there.
Like an actual foundation brick and mortar school?
No, it was brick and mortar, but it was modular buildings that were in a big circle. So it looked like in the Wild West when they used to make the circles with the tents. Yeah. Our roof of our gym literally was like a rawhide style or a canvas style.
Like a teepee?
Yeah, we couldn't have heaters in it. We put heaters in it, and the fire department shut it down. Says you can't run the heaters because it could catch the roof on fire. So the nickname for our gym was the Ice Box.
Oh, okay.
So it was, but it was a great experience. I loved it. I went to college, bounced all over for college, playing sports in college, and ended up at UC Irvine. And I met a gal there who was in my senior design project that said, hey, with your construction background, because I grew up doing construction and moving dirt with my dad from the time I was about 9.
Okay.
I was out there with a shovel in my hand helping. And
you sound like my child.
So anyways, with my background, she's like, it would be really great if you talked to my old boss and maybe went up to Ridgecrest. It's hard for them to get people with an engineering background, and let alone somebody who's got an engineering background now and a construction background. Mm-hmm. So she connected me with Renee at the Water District, and I interviewed and got an internship and then got a job and worked with the water district for 10 years, kind of cut my teeth on a lot of the engineering stuff and learned a lot.
So did you, prior to that, know of Ridgecrest?
I had been out this way to ride. So we rode in Dove Springs a lot in Red Rock, and we had there's a place, and it's Wagon Wheel now that I know the name that I've been out here, but we always called it Alice in Wonderland because there was a lot of single track that we would ride on out there.
Okay.
So I knew of it, but I had never actually been to it.
Okay.
So, and then...
Little fun fact of everybody, if you don't know Ridgecrest, you always bring them in at night. So did you come in at night?
No, I came in during the day for my interview. It was the first time I came here.
Okay.
And the funny story about that, the first thing I got told is when you go to the water district, these are the roads you want to take because the roads are so bad.
Oh, okay.
So I learned real quick that the roads were not the greatest. And then over the years, obviously, the city has been trying to improve those. But it's, like I said, cut my teeth there, learned a ton. They have a good staff over there, and the consulting engineering firm that they have is great.
Okay.
I've learned a lot over there. So,
And then led you into public works with the roads again.
yes, and it led me into applying to be the public works director, and was lucky enough to get that. And now the struggle is real.
I don't know what you're talking about. So we're going to dive right on in because, I mean, we have a lot of roads to cover today, right?
3 pages worth.
I mean, you know, I feel like there's a little bit more. Roads. Who needs roads, huh? So we have a little bit of commentary coming over from the mouse in the corner. So which page do you want to start with today?
So we can start with we've got one that's not on this list is we just awarded we just awarded a contract last council meeting to a contractor to do about $1 million worth of paving. Mm-hmm. There's about 8 roads that we're going to do here this summer.
Oh, okay. I think we briefly talked about that the last episode when we went over budget and everything, because it seems like roads and something else is a little bit of a hot topic in this town.
Yeah, it has been quite a hot topic. So we've been, we put together a 5-year plan, and we've been taking roads from that. And our goal was to, by 2025, have touched 77% of the roads in the city, which is where we're on track to do.
That is huge.
So it was a lofty goal. Our PCI, which is our pavement condition index, started in the low 20s, which is like very poor. And it goes like very poor, and I forget all of them.
Sounds like
Good,
a credit score.
And then very good or something like that. Moderate, or there's something in the middle. I forget. There's one in the middle.
Okay.
So we've basically taken it from very poor to we're in the good zone now. And we're trying to get above I think it's a 72 is when you crest into the very good.
Okay.
And by the end of 21, we're hoping to be at a PCI of 65. So it's gone up dramatically with our slurry program, with our hot mix asphalt program, which I'm going to refer to as HMA now, full disclosure, because that's a mouthful to say.
Let me tell you, right before this episode, I learned so many different acronyms today. So fun times over here. I'm like thinking like there's roads, there's streets, there's acronyms, and it's all starting to swirl.
It definitely does. And I had a steep learning curve because Caltrans uses acronyms for everything. And I probably know maybe 10% of them.
You know, I would have it just makes me think of those cheat sheets in college, like those little index cards, fit everything you can on there.
3x5 card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what do I write on here? What is the most important?
Yep.
So, okay. So we're going to start with sheet, what is it, FY22? I'm assuming fiscal year 22?
Yeah, I think it's up on
HMA?
your screen. Yeah. So it's fiscal year 22. It's our hot mix asphalt proposed.
I think it's that last one. Sorry, guys. We got some screens up here for you guys to view, and I'll also be dropping those in the comments for you to review as well.
So this is the current list that we're exploring doing our hot mix asphalt paving for next year. Typically, we have put a hot mix asphalt paving that's not grant related. So like Ridgecrest Boulevard was grant related. The east side of Downs was grant related.
And like right in front of the IWV fields?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the west side of Downs was supposed to be a grant, but we ran into some technical difficulties, and we ended up funding that with our traffic impact fees. So
Okay.
we've done quite a bit of work on our arterials, and now we think it's time we're going to start getting into more of our collectors and our residentials and things like that. Our latest grant project is not up here, but it's going to be on Ward. We're going to do China Lake Boulevard to Norma Street.
Okay.
And then we're hoping to get...
That's like right out here. I can like throw the rock to it.
Yep. And then we're hoping to do phase 2 of that either later this coming fiscal year or the next fiscal year, depending on how the grant program works out. There's some hoops that can happen that you can get funded early or you can get funded still in your allocation the next year. And we're going to do from Downs to Norma.
Okay. Okay.
So we're hoping to do a full mile stretch of Ward.
Wow. So will that include like fully breaking down, like no usage of that road? What does HMA include?
So typically when we do HMA and depending on the type of construction that we're choosing. So this grant that we've applied for to get this is what they call, it's an RSTP grant. So it's a road surface something, and I don't remember the other one. So this one is more of a mill and fill type project. So it's more of grinding some of the existing surface out and then replacing it with another lift of asphalt. Okay. The ones that we did like on Ridgecrest Boulevard, which was a street that had not been touched in a long time, it was pretty brutal. That's what we call like an FDR or a full depth restoration.
Okay.
So that is when we'll physically haul off 99% of the materials that are in place, change grades so things can drive better.
Full facelift.
Yeah, literally. It's a full facelift.
Full facelift.
That's
okay.
probably the best way to put it. There'll be some spots on Ward that we're going to do full facelift. I know all of us out here have driven, and we know we have a problem with some of the cross gutters and water flow that goes across and how hard
when you're
the
going,
bumps
it's like,
are.
Bam! It's like, ooh, I forgot about that.
So yeah, and we all know that when you're trying to
or
beat
anyone
the light,
new to the community,
trying to beat the light at Drummond and you go through that cross gutter a little too fast, it's a little hard on you. But so we know that Sierra View, we've got a trouble spot with how the grades are set up. At Ward, at Norma and Ward, we've got some trouble spots with how steep some of those ingress egresses are into the intersection. And one of Public Works' main priorities right now is to try to effectively get our traffic through the intersections. I mean, after all, that's the point of putting a signal in, right?
We hope so, but also please be careful of running that yellow light, y'all. Like, come on now. We ain't Fast and Furious over here.
This is true. But so anyway, so that's one of our primary focuses with this project. We're going to try to create an intersection through there that you can actually drive the posted speed limit through it rather than having to break through it. So that'll be one of our major concerns and our major pushes as we start to do more and more road projects is to try to start to alter the roads we need to alter. I thought we did a pretty good job. We did Gateway a few years back. I think that was done in like 2015.
I remember that because at that time we had just moved over there towards California. California by Gateway, like that little housing tract. And it was new street, everything. And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. So
yeah, the cross gutters over there were horrible. They had really steep crowns and deep cross gutters for the flows, because we all know that you can get a lot of water down there because the whole city drains that way.
Yep.
So I thought that with the engineering methods that they use to go out 275 feet and work on building the taper, taking the crowns out of the center of the roads and doing stuff like that. They also did it on Sunland Street, that same stretch from Ridgecrest Boulevard to Church. And on Sunland, it went all the way to Upjohn.
Okay.
But they did a pretty good job. And we think that we've been pretty effective with flattening those cross gutters out to allow traffic to actually drive through them rather than having to creep through them.
Well, and it's nice to know the understanding or like touching on the surface of this, because people think, oh, they're fixing the street. And then, you're doing increments of it, and what's happening, they just want it done like instantly right now. Like you said, you're doing the street. Well, you didn't. Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into like a full depth restoration of streets, or anytime you're changing physical lines of grade, which is so like curbs and gutters.
Okay.
We had to do a lot of curb and gutter work and varied curb heights and things like that on Ridgecrest Boulevard when we did that paving to try to accommodate Americans with disabilities. So there's very strict standards when it comes to sidewalks and curb returns.
I was going to say, that's very specific, and there's no cutting corners on that.
No, and it's the worst part about it is you think you have an understanding of the standards, and then the standards change. So you're always trying to bring your stuff into compliance, and it's a moving target. So it's going to be one of those things that we're actually currently in the process of looking to explore, where we've got a pilot ADA transition plan, and one of our engineer ones has been working diligently on expanding the plan. I think we got a pretty good base. We've talked to council a couple times about where we're looking at focusing our efforts. I'm sure you noticed all the new curb ramps and stuff like that went in on Ridgecrest Boulevard.
I'm definitely the weird person that notices that stuff. Like, I'll be like, something looks different here. And I might not know off the bat. And
There's a lot of yellow.
I'm like, what is this? What's going on over here?
So yeah, so we're trying to make strides and trying to do our best with the money that we've been allocated through Measure V, which we cannot thank the community enough for that. Without it, you would not see, I'm going to say, we'd probably see 1/10 of the roads being touched.
Whoa.
Measure V is, other than grant funding, is our primary source of funding
So
for
it's
our road maintenance program.
local funds going directly back here.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct.
Good to know.
So we have a committee that oversees how we spend that money. And we've been trying to refine our process. So our HMA stuff, we don't have the in-house tools. So this list is, like I said, is what we're looking at doing in 22.
And again, for everyone watching, this is the HMA that we're talking about right here on the screen.
So we typically every other year put out a hot mix asphalt project, and we've typically done around $1 million worth. Well, this year our general manager said, we want to be really aggressive. We're going to move our 23 paving project and our 25 paving project up and try to do them all in 1 year. So with that,
Raising the bar.
yeah,
Just a
with
little.
that, and with our budget this year, he allocated $3 million to us to do a pavement project out of Measure V. So it's direct funding that came from this community for the roads.
Okay.
So we had to take 23 and 25's paving project and add to it. So that's kind of what you see on the bottom here. And these are
So this
some of
new
our
proposed area.
correct.
Okay.
These are kind of some of our other streets that we see that are in poor condition, that have raveling or degrading and just are in need of an actual, almost kind of like a partial facelift.
Okay.
So that's our
So just some Botox, not the full facelift.
not the full. We're not.
Okay.
So our intent right now is we don't get enough rain. Typically, when you have communities that have a lot of water, you see the lifespan of the roads that are 4 to 5, maybe even less than that years, that you need to go in and start rehabbing and start doing stuff to them. Because we're so dry out here and it doesn't degrade our subgrade, we really see more of fines that get washed out of the surface. So you see roads that don't look pretty, but structurally, they're still pretty sound.
Now, does our heat affect it? Anything from the top?
Absolutely. Heat affects it. So you get expansion and contraction with any material we put on the ground. And one of the big things that we've noticed lately is we used to, where you see all the utilities that come up through the ground, like where you've got sewer manholes or water valves.
Okay.
If you drive down Ridgecrest Boulevard, you notice you see these cracks that come off the corners of all these valves. So we believe that's caused by differential expansion. So you have concrete that expands and contracts at a certain rate.
Right. I actually just saw some that was poured out at my friend's house. They had concrete poured. They didn't get all of it underneath, and the expansion contraction from the heat recently cracked it. And I was like, whoa. So that's where I'm kind of relating it.
So yeah, and you're absolutely right. And when one heats up quicker than the other one or moves, and you have a corner that's poking on this asphalt, you end up with a crack that propagates from that corner.
And is that why around town we have most of it filled?
And then we typically try to fill those to try to help prevent them from spreading. And anytime once you have a crack and it starts, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So we try to do our part to mitigate them, prevent them from cracking as fast. You're not going to stop it, but you can prevent them from cracking as fast.
But that's nice to know from this perspective where I have no idea what's going on. Like your job, I'm like, okay, cool. He's doing the roads, like, overview. And then seeing that, like some people see it as they're just bandaging it. They don't want to spend the money on it. But it, like you said, it's structurally great. It's just our weather sucks.
It kind of, yes and no. It could always be worse though. If we got more rain than we did, we would have a lot more problems than we see today. I mean, we've got some roads that were put in the 50s that used. So over time, our materials we've seen have kind of started to degrade. or a change in practice. Like a lot of our older roads that you look at, they don't look pretty, but they've got 3/4 inch, or some of them have 1 inch aggregate in them. And anytime you'd use a product like concrete or asphalt or anything like that, your strength is all in how big your aggregate is. So how big the rocks are that are in it.
Okay.
So the rocks are crushed is what we call them. They crush them with a crusher, so it creates angular shapes on the rocks. And those, when you compact that, the angular shapes bind to each other, and it uses friction and the binder to help hold that together. And that's how you get your strength out of it. So
Interesting.
the bigger the aggregate, stronger the structure is, or stronger the road is.
Because there's more surface area for it to hold on to.
Of the aggregates, exactly. So you got more friction.
Look at that, Amanda's science coming out.
You are, yep.
Hey.
You're getting it. We're ready to hire you.
Hey, hey, Eric, over there.
So anyways, not to go, my engineering mind is wandering.
Go for it.
Not to run, but we have a really aggressive paving project this year. We're looking at $3 million worth of roads. One of the other types of reconstruction that we're exploring right now is what's known as RAB, which is recycled asphalt binders. So essentially they have a train of machines that come out. Now this is not good for like residential roads, but it's more for like long collectors, or like Ward could be a great street that we could try
Like a
this
prospect for that to try
for
on?
this type of work. So it's basically they get a train of equipment and they recycle and they grind up the asphalt and the base in place, and then they add a binder to it and they repeat it and repave it in place. So you use your existing materials, so you save a bunch of money by using the materials that are already in place. Nevada has used this for years, and we all know, living in California, on your way to Vegas, everybody can't wait till you hit the Nevada line. One, because the speed changes.
I was gonna say, I think that's more for the speed though. And then it's like, let's get all the open lanes.
Yep. And two, that's part of the reason why their road infrastructure, in my opinion, is so much better than that in California, because they've been using this recycled asphalt products for a lot longer than we have here.
I also, like, this is just me being weird again, like the sound like my tires make once I hit Nevada. I know it. And I'm like, yeah, we're here. It's almost like that musical road over in Lancaster. I'm like, we're here.
Avenue G. Yep.
Yes, Avenue G.
Yep.
So that's amazing. Now, real quick about the forms we are viewing. Where can someone find this so that way they aren't caught off guard that their street is now?
So we do have a 5-year pavement plan, which is online on our website. I couldn't tell you exactly how to get to it. But
I can link to it too.
Yeah, it's through the Public Works section.
Okay.
We're in the process. Council requested last council meeting that we actually put some graphics like this up that shows the actual roads that are getting done. So we're working on preparing
Pictures.
something.
A lot of people like pictures.
Yes, we're working on something to put up that it's more of a straightforward, where you're not having to dig through a map and look at it each year individually.
Okay.
We're looking at something that's just more of a list that they can read it, see if there are roads on it,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. So on the website is probably your best place, or you can call us at the Public Works Department, and we will gladly tell you when your road is scheduled. I frequently get emails from the mayor asking, hey, when's this road scheduled? Or even people from the public. So
Okay. So general public don't have to be like fancy hat on.
no, they can be general public. And we actually have gotten quite a few requests on a couple roads that like Raider in between Sunset and Downs
Oh, yes.
has been a rough road for quite some time. And we had gotten quite a few complaints on that road. So we kind of restructured. So the 5-year plan is exactly what it says it is. It's a plan. Doesn't mean that's the exact roads we're going to do.
Because we also can't predict the future.
Exactly.
Say we do get a lot of rain or something that comes in.
Absolutely. Or you look at the earthquakes.
Yeah.
Some of the roads changed in priority due to the earthquakes. We've had some huge cracks that have formed on Ridgecrest Boulevard.
I mean, wasn't there a piece of road on French that caved in? Was it French? No, Drummond?
I don't remember.
Right behind Stater Brothers?
I think you're right. It was on Drummond. You're right. Yeah, that was I think due to a water leak.
Oh, okay. I mean,
huge
obviously, I
sinkhole.
never
That was back
dug
in my water
into
district
it.
days.
And I was
So,
like, oh,
yeah. But I
that
think-
seems dangerous.
I think you're right. I think it was the earthquake which caused the water leak.
Okay.
Now that you say that.
So that would definitely take precedence.
So yes and no. Obviously, the water leak caused a lot more of the damage than we think the earthquake. The earthquake started the problem, and then the water just perpetuated it.
Like chicken and the egg.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and if you really think about that, what did I say before this? We don't have lots of water. We don't have near the problems. If we had water there, and you see what the problems do.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes they will change. We had a lot of complaints about Raiders. So we actually went out and just got done doing an extensive overhaul on the top of Raider, in which we're actually planning to slurry that this coming fall.
Oh, okay. That's quick.
So that'll be where we did a little minor facelift, and then we try to do something with our in-house slurry program that protects the surface. So, and that's essentially what our slurry program does. A lot of our roads that are in decent structural shape, that slurry is a binder that helps hold the fines in. And that's what you see as roads start to degrade, the fines start to come out.
Okay. Huh.
So,
Interesting little
tidbit.
I'm going to go out real quick and go on a field trip one day and just be like, can I slurry today?
Yeah, you should. You should. I've actually been meaning to do that with the guys, and we've had so many topics and so many things that have been come up, and I've been so busy I haven't got to go out there. I wanted to go out and muck with some of the guys, so that way they can see and know that I can
like, you know what you're doing. You're like, hey,
I'm not just a pretty face. Yeah, I'm not just a pretty face. I can run a shovel too.
There you go. So we have a quick question that just came in about these little tiny things that are popping up.
Oh, the dishes on the traffic signals.
Yeah. So for those of you who are on watching, I'll post a picture of what we're talking about, but those little like snowmen looking things above our traffic lights.
So that is a communication system. We have what's called active traffic signal. I forget what it is, but it's another acronym.
Okay.
And what it does is,
I hope there's not a test after this.
yeah, I hope not either, because I would fail miserably.
Hey, hard cheat sheets.
Yeah. Where's the 3x5s? I need to write all these down. So what that does is we installed a fiber optic. Jeez, man, I cannot talk today. We installed a fiber optic line from City Hall that runs down to California. I don't know if some people don't know this, but the city doesn't actually own or maintain China Lake Boulevard from Ridgecrest Boulevard north to the base.
That's Caltrans.
Correct.
I believe we touched on this topic the other week, but yeah, not a lot of people know that.
No, and then we don't maintain Ridgecrest Boulevard east from China Lake Boulevard.
So heading out to
all the
Trona.
way out to Trona. Exactly. Yeah. So that is a Caltrans right away. So the first city-owned signal on China Lake Boulevard is the California intersection.
Okay.
So the California intersection, the Upjohn intersection, the Church intersection, Raider, Bowman, and then College Heights Boulevard are on it's an active transportation style system. So at peak daily traffic time, so when everybody's headed to the base or when everybody's headed home, the signal timing changes to where it's trying to allow the big balloon of traffic, once it crosses Ridgecrest Boulevard, it's trying to make it to where you can hit all green lights all the way through.
Yes, because you'll hit like one stop and then you see everything else in front of you is green and it's like,
yes, now I'm going to hit, I'm going to hit everyone now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the system that's so those signals can talk to each other. So the Upjohn signal knows what the light pattern is and what the California signal is doing, or what the Church signal is doing, or what the one downstream is doing, or if a car has come up here and do I have time to stop traffic to allow this car to go? Or
the one random car turning from California onto China Lake.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and we only recently activated that again because with the pandemic, we had it turned off because we didn't see the same peak traffic volumes that we were seeing before.
I feel like nowhere saw any peak traffic volume.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I would agree with you.
So
we just recently turned that back on. We're still working through some bugs. I know that's kind of a hot topic for everybody. The mayor frequently tells me, you got to look at the California signal. It will not let me turn left. So
actually, you know what's funny? Now that you mentioned that, like last month, I was sitting there for probably a good 6-7 minutes, enough for a few songs to play through. And I was like, do I back up? Do I flash my lights? What do I do here? So what am I doing here?
When you're talking about the fiber optics, what is that?
Oh, yes.
So that is radio. So we put fiber optic in down. I forget. I think it goes to Upjohn and then it stops. And then that uses line of sight and radio frequencies so they can talk. So it's another form of communication. So that's direct line of sight.
All that just came to my mind is Will Smith's movie I, Robot.
I've seen it.
Okay, don't. I am not a fan of AI. And I'm like, this is what's happening. Like pretty soon, like everything's going to be controlled and my car is going to be taken off on its own. And this is why we're putting in an EV charger here is because I have to plug my car in.
Pretty much.
Fiber optic everywhere.
Well, and you see the people that sleep in the Teslas while they're driving.
You know, I have never seen one in person.
I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but I know people that have seen it.
That's terrifying.
And they're trustworthy. They're from Ridgecrest.
Oh, perfect.
So.
There we go. I mean, good old Ridgecrest. Never been dysfunctional.
Oh, yeah. Never.
So those will be helping people and it'll change based on the flow. Does
Correct.
it like learn a pattern and go, or will it change no matter what the flow is?
So we have the ability to change. We have office software that can talk to all of these through the internet, and we have the ability to change the timing.
Like override or?
Yeah. So there's laws in place though that you can't adjust them. It's like 2 times every 6 months or something like that. So
Okay.
we have a consultant, Econolite, that has extensive traffic experience that helps us maintain and helps us run this program. And we've used our traffic counts and things like that. And they've developed a program and we're slowly refining it so we have the
our
base
needs
map.
here.
Correct. So we have the base map and we're still trying to refine it to where it works the best for our public.
Okay. And I'll drop a photo in the comments, guys, for what we're talking about if you guys have no clue what this is, what these little snowmen on the traffic lights are.
So, and the other people, you'll probably notice there's cameras up there too. No, they're not for running red lights. That is actually how the signals sense and know what is there. Back in the old days, they used to use what were called loops. And that's like when you drive up to a gate and it senses the car and it opens the gate.
Like the big old round circles that are still on the streets.
So that's how they used to use them, and Caltrans still utilizes those. So that's why you still see those on Ridgecrest Boulevard and China Lake, and you see them in all the other signals up
On
the way.
the north side of town.
Correct.
Okay.
So loops are expensive to maintain, and anytime you do any road work, it tears the loops up and you have to replace them all.
Oh.
So we've gone to a camera system. Granted, our camera system is older, and there's some challenges with those too. Don't get me wrong, because the sun is brutal on them, because then it doesn't see cars to know that there's a car there that needs to turn left. Mm-hmm. So there can be some challenges with them, but our streets department, I think, does a pretty dang good job of trying to help maintain and keep things moving sufficiently. But every once in a while, there will be problems. And remember, we are only 100 people at the city total in Workforce 101, I think. But we rely on the public to tell us when they see a problem. Call us, tell us, let us know there's a huge pothole somewhere.
That it's somewhere.
Yeah, let us know so we can get out there. Our street supervisor does a great job at mitigating public complaints.
Okay.
We get a lot of calls for nuisance water and mud piled up in the streets, and they will, within the day, go out there and make sure that gets cleaned up so the water can flow in the gutters. They get calls for signals being out, and they will go see if they can fix it. If not, they have multiple ways they can switch it to where it's just a timing pattern or flashing red or
Something.
Yeah,
something that helps all of us here.
Exactly. There's somebody always with the phone that's on call that can do something. So if you see something, call us.
His name is Eric Bruin, and his public phone number is out there.
Yes, and he lives on
Again,
977.
for anyone just tuning in, he is in here in the background. He's our mouse in the corner today. So let's go on. Let's talk a little bit about permits and buildings.
Yeah, we can. Do we want to go through our slurry list real quick?
Oh, yes. So sorry.
So we've got another paving program that's pretty aggressive. And as you know,
So that is page SB1.
Yeah, you can go to the SB1 first.
Okay.
That one's perfect. Fall. So we do it 2 times a year. We do it in fall and we do it in spring. And this is all in-house.
Is that just due to weather, timing?
Some of it's weather. The machines are fairly new, and the machine is fairly new.
Okay.
And we have been learning the ropes with it and trying to perfect our craft.
Okay.
And right now, some of the biggest reasons why we don't do more is because the time it takes for us to prep these streets. So we have to knock all the humps off. You blow all
I
the
still
cracks
feel like
out.
this is a very significant list.
Oh, it
though.
is. It's a pretty big. We try to do at least 7 to 8 centerline miles each slurry year. So I'm sorry, each slurry portion of a year. So
Okay, so
quite a bit each year.
twice a year. Okay.
So it's still quite a big list.
So this looks like most of the area in fall will be over by the Las Flores region of town. Okay. I'm looking at the names. I was like, some of these I recognize. So,
Yes, so we're
heads
doing
up, people that live over in this neighborhood.
So we're really, really close to finishing the east side of town. So like California Church. And I know we get a lot of calls. I think it's Wilson we slurried one portion and there's this one portion that is just god awful. And that is due to get paved in this 2021 round, this one that's coming out. So that one will be paved. And that's why it just was too far gone for us to put a slurry on it. So we went ahead and we have that one set up to get paved.
I gotcha.
So
It's like the thorn in your side.
yeah, it is. It is that and streetlights. So
There we go. There's the real truth, everybody. So, okay, so the fall slurry program. Now, all of these will just be, will the residents be notified?
yes. So our street supervisor has notices that he prints out and he will distribute.
Okay.
So people know when they will be in the area. They will be there doing their prep work, which consists of them grinding high spots, grinding off paint, patching holes, filling in cracks, filling potholes,
Okay.
cleaning the edge of the gutter, the lip out where the weeds grow in between the gutter and the curb.
Oh, okay.
And then they will come in, and once they've done all the repair work, everybody's like, oh, they came in and all they did was some minor work and now they're gone. So a lot of that work is done our slurry
In advance.
season. Exactly. So that way we have minimal cleanup to do right before it comes time to slurry. Because as I said, the hardest part for us is getting enough prepped to where we can do all the roads that we want to do. So we've got some new equipment. We're hoping it speeds the process up, but we've been really trying to figure out a better way to make our process quicker. And I'm a firm believer that I think as we get more roads touched, the process will get easier because we would really like if we get the public to buy into continuing Measure V and they're happy with what we've been doing with their roads, we would really like to be in to touch everybody's roads within 7 years, have a 7-year program that we just go through and we can keep
Like a constant rotation.
Exactly.
And it sounds like right now you guys are doing the overhaul on it all. It's a much needed overhaul, but then once you get into that flow, it'll be easier.
Correct, because we won't have the same amount of maintenance because we won't have roads that we haven't touched in 50 years or 30 years or 40 years.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope. we hope. But Measure V is crucial to that.
So, and that's again, community funded going back to the community.
Yep.
So that's amazing.
Yep.
I mean, little Ridgecrest doing its part.
So we got one more list, and that's our spring one. And I won't bore you with any more roads topics unless you have questions for me.
I do have one more question that's popping up, it looks like.
Okay.
We'll go on the slurry
Well,
first.
I was just going to say, well, you pretty much know everything about slurry now. I think you're a slurry expert.
I do not. Now we're going to get pictures of me out there on the slurry machine. Is it like a Zamboni?
It kind of, in a way. So they stand, rather than running it like a Zamboni where you sit in it and it drives and it cuts the ice and then puts the water on it. What this one does is you've got 2 guys that stand on the back and then you've got guys with squeegees and it lays it out in a layer and then they kind of move it around to where they want. So, but it does kind of work like a Zamboni.
Okay.
So
There we go. Now I have this better picture of it all. So all of this will be happening in spring. So I'm assuming the repairs will be happening later after fall.
correct.
All right.
Or during some of them might even get done this summer. So our hope is if we can get more prepped and we can slurry more,
Okay.
we're gonna start jumping into our spring list and try to get more done.
So if you guys see your name on here, your friend's name, family member's name, let them know they did not just eat up the road and then leave it high and dry. There is a process coming.
Yeah.
So we do have a question about why are some of the street lights out?
So some of the streetlights, so there's 2 types of streetlights that we currently see. A lot of the new developments have LEDs, as everybody knows, where everything seems to be going the LED route. They are very bright.
Yes.
Especially the ones that are on the arterials, which is like the Drummonds, the Wards, the Downs.
The other week I had to drive home at like 9:30 at night, which mind you, I'm usually in bed by like 8 p.m. And I was driving and I was like, man, these lights are bright. I was like, what is going on? I was like, am I really this old? So
Where were you? Like Drummond area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was driving and I was like,
IWV Construction's new subdivision, the arterial lights are quite bright. And
yes. That, was it Beach Court area?
Yep.
Yeah. So, because I cruised through there too. I was like, look at this new development. So, once again, I'm the weird person that wants to stop at all the things.
So we've got that light, and then we've got sodium vapor lights, which are the more, as my wife would say, the more warmer white colors, the ones that look yellow to me. Is what I'm gonna go ahead and
Warm
say.
Christmas versus cool Christmas.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
The yellow versus the blue. Okay.
Yes. So those are the old school type lights, and we actually entered into what Edison's what they call the Option E program. So starting in July, Edison will be out in force and other crews to change every street light in the city to LED.
Really?
So all the street lights that we thought we had entered into another program where they were replacing the sodium vapors as they go out with LEDs.
Okay.
Well, we had been getting complaints from citizens saying, hey, why are they replacing these with the sodium vapors? I thought you guys we were replacing them with LEDs. And Edison had a response that I can agree with, one that fields public complaints. And I'm stealing my staff's thunder. They filter the public complaints for me, but
kudos to those people.
they are the true heroes.
The
Those
front
ones
line.
and the building counter people are the true heroes. So, but so they've been replacing them with the same lights, and we've been getting a bunch of calls for it. And I talked to Mr. King with Edison, who kind of oversees the streetlight program, and he goes, well, how many phone calls would you like to field that because we changed one light to LED that you have all these people calling you and saying, how come you didn't change my light? How come you didn't do the whole street? How come this? And I said, oh, you know what? I can understand that, considering you're going to be here in July to change them all in one time. It kind of mitigates some of the complaints. And with what I had on my plate, council may not like it, but with what I had on my plate at the time, I was like, works for me. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There we go. So next month.
Next month is when it's supposed to start. And once you'll see lots of crews out, and they'll be going. I don't know for sure a start date as of yet, but we were reassured that sometime in July they will be here.
Okay. But I mean, at least that's something. It's not like what's wrong, what's going on, like that negative aspect. Like the public can know, hey, we're getting an upgrade.
We are. We are. And it should cut our costs for electricity for streetlights down. I don't want to put a percentage on it and put a number on it and then have to be called a liar, but substantially. I'm just going to use that word.
And then one more question that just came, fiber. Can we talk a little bit more about that? Any more coming in or?
What's fiber?
I don't know. The question's right there. Can I phone a friend real quick?
Yeah, you can phone a friend.
Boop, 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 boop. Hey, Council or Mayor Bruin, about fiber. Can I have a little bit more detail on this?
I'm just kidding.
Can I have a definition? Can you use it in a sentence?
Are we? Yeah.
Fiber would be the type of internet connection that would be available to your home.
Oh, okay. So fiber is the type of internet connection available to your home for those who are not listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I now know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
So
Once again, Amanda's the average Joe over here, and they're just spitting all the questions at me.
So, anyways, we have a company, Race, that has been in contact with us. They are looking to do a fiber optic network within the city that will have fiber delivered to. We're hoping to get it set up to where every home within city limits will have a fiber connection that has the capability of gig up, gig down. So,
Hey.
yeah.
What about people that live out in county?
So,
like
currently,
west side of Mahan.
I don't know of any plans that they have to build out that far.
Aww.
And I'm not saying that I don't care about the people in the county, but my focus is city. I work for the city. I need to do what's best for the city. So my focus right now is on making sure we can get the city built out with fiber and have everybody, especially with all the COVID stuff that's been going on and the people that have to stay home, and some
Like teleworking and all that.
And some agencies probably are finding that teleworking, not having to have a front door and pay that rent, might even be better for their company. I think good internet is going to be crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if there's still social distance learning going on.
Yep.
So we have all experienced it, that bog at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, my wife is the true hero with that, by the way.
Is she a teacher?
No, she with four
home with the
kids
kids?
that were home to do, and then trying to help them and teach and compute. Yeah. That's why when I would wake up and go to work, it was like a breath of fresh air. Oh, I'm going to work. Yes.
I feel for all of them, like kudos to all the parents, all the teachers, all the parents that had to become teachers, because let me tell you, I struggled for the month that I was home with my kid, and I was like, you're 4. Let's learn our ABCs. You already know those. Okay, cool. Let's learn about continents.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. But that'll be nice for them to be able to stay connected and hopefully not have that bogged down.
Yeah, so we've already received a set of plans we're doing it in quadrants. We've got like a north half and a south half, and we're separating them into 4 quadrants.
Okay.
We're trying to keep the organized chaos, and I'm going to call it organized chaos because it's going to be like an invasion. When they come to do this, they're going to try. They've got a very aggressive
It's going to be like a swarm.
Exactly.
attack.
At any one time, they said they have 16 bore crews available to them.
Whoa.
So all of our roads that we're working on, they could be tearing some of them up, but we are doing our best to mitigate with the roads that we were planning on doing to try to get them in before, so that way we can cover the damage or cover the road cuts, so we don't see the abrasions.
But it's all necessary. In the long run, it's all necessary.
I think that it's all necessary. I think one of the biggest things that has hindered Ridgecrest for a long time, from especially the base and from the base perspective, for getting capable engineers and capable bodies, and not saying people are not capable that are out there, is our lack of internet and our lack of some of the common amenities that you see in other cities.
But I think it's also that drive, that motivation to get it going, the enthusiasm behind it.
Yep.
So getting people that support that and enjoy the change, like getting out of the comfort zone of, yes, we're a small rural town, but we still need these amenities.
Yep.
Like it's not if, it's not when, it's like we need them.
We actually are working on a resiliency grant right now too, that is looking at basically the hazards and the major concerns that the base has and the city has as far as infrastructure. So like flood mitigation and the fact that we have one fiber feed into this town. And we all remember when the fiber got cut over on Dolphin Street on our project. How long were we without cell phones?
Oh, yeah. When everyone was freaking out, I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Depends on how much your phone rings, but yes, I can agree with you.
But no, I mean, it was definitely devastating for majority of people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely was.
They're like, what do I do now?
So it actually, my wife and I contemplated switching, because we've got 2 boys that have cell phones too, switching and having half on Verizon and half on AT&T, because they use different cell towers, to where there was ever that problem that we would have some redundancy.
That's what we do in my household.
So
Full disclosure, because we know that like in Trona, if we go out that way, there's service. One of us has service there.
Yep.
One of us has service on the other side of town. So it's just safety.
Yep. And that's what we ended up not doing it. I kind of wish we would have, but I forget why now. But anyway, so we're hoping that this can provide some more redundancy for the town too, as far as internet's concerned. And like I said, we're looking at flood mitigation and all sorts of stuff.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thank you for being here today.
No problem.
And sharing all this, helping educate me on the roads and acronyms.
Yep. Anytime.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you had an amazing 4th of July weekend and have a great rest of your evening. Oh, that's right. So sorry, I almost failed this one right here. Oh, it's a quick little reminder for everyone. Desert Valley's members, we have an exciting time coming back. We have our annual membership meeting as well as member movie night coming up on Tuesday, July 20th. You're over here laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing, but I hear this thing that everything you guys do is big, so.
Yeah, we don't know how to do small here. Like, there's no like one taco from the taco cart. It's like, I need the whole platter.
I don't know if I need any more tacos.
But like, how many people are in your household? 6?
6.
6 people. You can take all 6 of your family to the movies for $15. That's $2.50 a ticket on member movie night.
That's pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
So, and then go buy all your popcorn.
I wish I had a button that I could hit that would go impressive.
So this is going to be our last episode before Member Movie Night on Tuesday, July 20th. So we will be doing some lives from there, most likely, having some fun. Just come out, check it out, come see a movie. Tickets are available on Eventbrite right now. I have a few links of those on our social media. Or you can come into the branch and purchase your tickets as well with our tellers. So again, mark your calendars for Tuesday, July 20th. We'll be on site at Ridgecrest Cinemas at 4 p.m. All right, guys. Thank you again.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Bye.